Welcome to this week of Fly Rod Chronicles. We just left our home state of West Virginia. We're in Pennsylvania, heading to Pittsburgh to grab a plane, and I think we got 6 more after that. We are going to catch the Arctic Char, which happens to be a cousin of our brook trout in the state of West Virginia. So we're going clear up to the most northern tip of Quebec. Matter of fact, we may see Santa Claus because we are literally going to be at North Pole, and then right across from Pain River will be Greenland. This is a trip that you don't want to miss. And if you can't see it in my face, we're excited. Stick around. Traveling the world, fishing, enjoying the great outdoors. Those are things that would have seemed impossible to me when I was a kid growing up in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm a lucky man, and I never want to forget it, and I'm hoping that sharing my experiences with folks will inspire them to do the same. I'm Curtis Fleming, and these are my Fly Rod Chronicles.
Left West Virginia, now we're in New York City, and it's a long journey. Then we go up to Montreal, and then it's like 6-7 more planes, 2 or 3 more days, a dog sled, we're there.
You know, a lot of people ask me why I do the show. I love to travel.
After crossing over into Canada, we were able to meet with this week's special guest, Siegfried Gagnon.
When you meet a TV crew for the first time, you never know what to expect. The great thing about this one is within the first hour, everything clocked in.
You know, there's a language barrier. This is traditionally a French-speaking area. And Siegfried, he can speak American, he can speak French, he can speak languages that I don't even know what he was talking, but he at all times made us feel comfortable and put us in great position.
I do work with the writers and TV crew, working with them to come in Quebec, experience the fishing and hunting, and then transfer that to their viewers and come and discover the incredible scenery that we have here in the back. The fishing, the hunting, the variety, everything that there is to be discovered. So I'm working with colleagues, regional colleagues like here, the Nunavik Tourism, the outfitters, and we're all working together to promote fishing and hunting.
This is where we're at right now.
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna fly up to Kangasuk, and then you'll be going into the Pain River by boat, by a Peterhead boat.
Okay.
With your Inuit guys that will bring you into the camp.
Nice.
The Pain River fishing camp.
Okay. Well, this is exciting. You know, coming from the South, coming from the United States, West Virginia, all the way up here to see what you guys are all about and learn your culture and the whole native part of it. And the fishing. We haven't even talked about the fishing yet, huh?
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
If you've never fished Arctic Char before,
Yeah.
it's a very combative fish.
Yeah.
So it'll give you a nice challenge.
It's very
and
nice.
It's very, very tasty.
That's what I heard.
And I dare you to have it raw as well. It's really good.
Well, you know what? We'll have to try that. We'll partake. We'll do it. All right. Well, thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
All right.
Our pleasure.
All right. I think this is the last leg of the plane. They just told me bon voyage, and I English class, I think that means you're out of here.
Getting this far north takes a lot of logistics, but chartering through Arctic Adventures made travel a breeze. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to the Pain River.
A little excitement, just a little bit. Good job.
And once we arrived at camp, I was not disappointed. The vast landscape here is amazing, and the only building in sight is the Arctic Adventures Fish Camp.
Look at this place. I mean, it's definitely God's creation. It's just incredible, and just blessed to be part of it and be out here. We got about a quarter-of-a-mile walk in, so we're gonna take a little break, come back right after this. More Fly Rod Chronicles up in Quebec.
This segment is brought to you by TU's Veterans Service Partnership.
Welcome back to Fly Rod Chronicles. I know we're dressed a little different, but it is July and we've got a survival suit on, and we're going out. It is actually 2:41 a.m. You play the tide game here, and you've got to get out before the tide gets out. Last night this was looked like a graveyard of rocks, and overnight, very short night, it filled up with water, and now we've got to get out there, and it's a concern right now, so stick with us. You know, we love it. We live fishing. So 2 o'clock in the morning, we ate it up. We took it as that adventure, as that challenge. You know, what's really cool about this is having a native guide. And I really dig that, because this is their heritage and this is what they're about. And it's just really, really cool. I'm excited about working with Eric and Peter this week. Prior to coming on this trip, we talked about the types of fishing that we'll be doing. Most of the fishing is subsurface. So they give you a list of flies that you should be using, you know, the Mickey Finn, the gray ghost. I like throwing clousers, woolly boogers, big flies at fish. So mainly it's throw as far as you can, keep your fly in the water, strip, strip, strip. There he is, set. Set is the greatest thing. And my first real Arctic char. We've caught him in Alaska. And it is a small one, but we'll take him. Very cool, very good.
Small one. You'll catch bigger than that one.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
There we go. Better get him on the reel.
Not too bad. Getting bigger, bigger.
All right, there we go.
Every catch, they're getting bigger.
A little bigger, huh? Yeah. That's beautiful. That's just gorgeous. Thank you, Eric.
Oh, you're welcome.
The Payne River is noted as being a world-class fishery for Arctic char, and I had high expectations before we got here. Boy, was I not disappointed.
All right.
Streamers that imitate a baby lance are very effective, and catching 60 fish a day here is not uncommon.
You know, here we are out here in Quebec, catching some incredible Arctic char, and we got a herd of caribou floating down the river.
Let's go have one for shoreland.
That's gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, we didn't even have to touch him, did we? What's cool about being up here in Quebec and in this area is it's very sportsmanlike, and they've adopted the catch and release up here. You are allowed 5 to keep and take back with you, but still they use the barbless hooks, and you know, that one got off, but we still made a little TV and it all worked out, so we'll go at it again. Up here with Arctic Adventures, this is just a little bit crazy. I had lots of dreams as a little boy, but getting up in this part of the world, catching the cousin of our brook trout. Right there it is, a little bigger, huh? Very nice. I'm gonna move in here. We'll get a picture of that one. Here we go. Another Arctic char up here in Quebec. We're gonna put him back, have a commercial, come back right after this. Very nice.
Closed captioning is provided to you by Buff, the original multifunctional headwear.
You know, we did get on the fish early, and it made me feel good as a fly fisherman because I just was banging fish one after another. And you know, Siegfried, he was over in the boat, and it was kind of like he was a spectator. He was just, you could see him cheering for me, and you could see that he was grateful. And he breaks out the fly rod, and he casts out into the Payne River. Now you gotta know this, the Payne River is not our average river at home. It's as large as most lakes in width. To see Siegfried to make that cast into the water and hook up on his first Arctic Char on the fly made me so proud. But I gotta be honest with you, I was a little bit envious. I could tell that this was a big fish. His rod was bent over. And I'm like, man, I think Siegfried's gonna catch a bigger fish than me, and this is my show.
Oh my, I'm in the banking right now. Oh, mainly I'm not a fly fisherman, and I'm not an experienced one, so I caught that large char, very proud of it, and we had a hard time to catch it with the net because it was very strong, a strong torpedo, and everybody says it's a strong fish, they fight till the end, and
Attaboy! Attaboy, Siegfried! That's his first one. It looks like it's a whopper too. That's awesome.
yes. Oh, thank you. And now we're gonna release.
Hey Chad, tell him that we're over here talking about how we can Photoshop him out of it.
So I finally caught it, and then I heard, you know, I think I'm gonna Photoshop that fish and keep it for me. I said, what? So gee, that was a good one, a very funny one. Yeah, I like the humor.
That was his first Arctic Char on the fly. That's pretty special right there.
I did release that big fish because here we're promoting fly fishing, regular fishing, but most importantly, catch and release, because we want to make sure that there's going to be future fishing for everybody, for the future generation. But I definitely wanted to do it for Curtis as my first large Arctic Char, and I was proud to do it.
So Eric, you ready to take a break and go get some lunch?
Yeah, yeah. We're
Where's
ready.
the closest McDonald's?
That way.
That way. Like 800 miles, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's go get some shore lunch. The river is plentiful, and there is so many Arctic Char in the river. So on this trip, we had the opportunity to take some Arctic Char and have a shore lunch. It was incredible coming back to lunch and having Eric and Peter to sit down, make that fire, cook a lunch, and take in everything that's around us. You know, the greatest part about it, what you catch is what you eat. And if you look at my plate, it's full. You didn't catch very much.
Well, yeah, that's true. Fishing is great, but it's not only about fishing.
It's really not.
You see, shore lunch is a great experience. In
Right.
Quebec, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
Most outfitters are organizing shore lunch like that, but this with our friend the Inuit and
Yeah.
the fresh fish, nothing can be better than that.
Oh, yeah. You know, when you go to a new place, you envision in your mind what it's going to look like,
Yeah.
but it's still, until you get up here, the beauty of this is amazing.
You think it's a dream until you hear your neighbor snoring.
And then it's like, uh-oh, it's not a dream, it's a nightmare. Well.
The Payne River is truly something special, and so are the native Inuit people that call this Arctic wilderness home. The Inuit were the first hunters and fishermen here, and therefore were the first conservationists. We had the opportunity to meet Elijah Gray, the mayor of Kuujjuaq. Elijah helped pioneer this remote camp, and it was interesting to hear him talk about how his ancestors relied on the Arctic char for food, but were also smart enough to conserve this great resource.
It's Westervelt Ecological Services, time for conservation.
In our culture, we usually take what we need. We never overhunt. When they think about it, enough.
And you are well known to have a lot of respect for the fish, for the game, for the caribou, lots of respect for nature.
Yeah, it is. That's where the culture is.
The Inuit culture is one that I personally admire. Their connection to the land and animals is unique, and their sense of community is very important to them. A great example of this is the community freezer in Kangersuk. Here, able-bodied hunters stockpile meat and is made available to elders or any member of the community that needs it for sustenance. The once nomadic Inuit people and their way of life has changed a lot with modernization, but one thing that has stayed consistent is their respect for the land and each other.
We'll be right back with Fly Rod Chronicles.
Gas and I stick out my thumb. I've gotta get there one way or another. I'm a fishing bum.
Arctic Adventure offers probably one of the most ultimate fishing destinations. Not only because of the quality of the fish that we're catching, but because of the amazing scenery, the culture exchange with the native people, the Inuit, and the vast scenery that is probably one of the most beautiful in the world.
That's absolutely crazy. I mean, it is freezing. And those things are swimming like they're trying out for the Olympics. Caribou. You know, when you go on an adventure like this, there's so many satisfying things that can happen to you. I still was missing that one big fish. But you know, when I hooked into the big fish, everything come together. Not only did it take me into my backing, not only did I get to share the experience with my friends, my camera guys, I got to experience it with a good guy like Siegfried.
Whoa, nice fish too. Whoa, nice fish.
So I got a fish on, and there's a black bear right here at the top of the hill. Chad's videoing it. And here I got a big fish on, and nobody cares about that. And it's actually a big one, big old char. Oh, look at that in the water. Look at that. Nice. Look, that bear's coming down the hill now. So we, look, shine the camera right there. So we just landed a fish, and then right behind me, there's a bear that I think's wanting to have a wrestling match. And the bear's right there, and he's like coming down to us. Well, I'm gonna take care of this fish, let him go. We got a bear in the background that really wants this fish, but we're gonna release it.
It's time for Trout Unlimited's Release of the Week.
This was an all-out adventure. It's about the travel. It's about the good people that you meet. It's about the different food. It's about being in the Arctic tundra and fishing saltwater for a species that we've never fished for. So our show, and this particular show, is about fishing, but it really wasn't. It was about the experience.
You know, it's people like you that make these trips. And just a boy from West Virginia who had a dream to travel this world and to meet great people like you guys. And we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate having you.
Yes. I will bring better companionship the next time I come. This is what it's about, this laugh right here. And this is what Fly Rod Chronicles is about. So come back next week. I'm not sure we can top a trip like this, but we'll try.